Ladies and gentlemen, it's now 7 o'clock on Tuesday, December 9th, 2025. I'm calling this meeting of the Chelmsford Conservation Commission to order. My name is Carl Bischoff. I'm the chair of the Conservation Commission. We will be following the published and posted agenda. The meeting is both in person and through Zoom. In the case of the Zoom not working properly, we will continue the meeting in person. This meeting is being broadcast and recorded by Chelmsford Telemedia and will be available on their website and on YouTube. And we do have a quorum. We're down 2 members tonight, so we're going to be a busy crew here. We do have a lot in our agenda, so I'm going to ask again that we keep things on to point, and try to move forward. But at the same time, let's do a good job tonight. So the only adjustment on our agenda is just to notice that the applicant for 100 Ecuador Road has requested a continuance to our next meeting. So if perchance you're here for that hearing, that is not going to happen this evening. Our next meeting is January 13th. So first thing, is there anyone in the room who has any questions or concerns or wants to bring something to the attention of the commission that is not on our agenda? I don't see anything there. Okay, so first up is a discussion. Mr. Jeffrey Brem from Meisner Brem Corporation, waiver of bylaw setbacks for construction of a new single-family house at 181 Proctor Road. And Mr. Brem is setting up here with some presentation stuff. So I'm going to ask Mr. Brem if we can keep it short. As I said, we have a lot on our agenda, and we'll listen to you. I don't know what we'll give you for feedback. I'm inclined to just listen.
Sure. Mr. Chairman, my name is Jeffrey Brem, and I will be as quick as I can. I have a very complicated issue. I'm going to try to simplify it. And actually, let's go right to the chase. I'm going to ask, the discussion tonight is about a waiver. I know you don't do waivers very often, if ever. So perhaps we could, at the end of this, create a subcommittee to go more in detail and dive into some of the details, because it is a little bit, unfortunately, complex. Mr. Garahan, I know, was on the commission when this was discussed. I'm pretty sure Mr. Vines was. Those are the 2 that aren't here. I'm not sure if anybody else was here back when we started this.
Mr. Gibbs was, I think.
Mr. Gibbs
Yeah.
was, great.
Yeah.
So he could help bring us up to speed. All right, so I'm here representing Terry and Valerie Murphy, 181 Proctor Road. This has a lot of history, this property. I'm going to try to go through it real quick. And the file is that thick, so it's huge. I'm going to try to skip through a lot of it, and we'll come back again. We're not expecting any decision tonight. Just kind of bringing you up to speed. So the 2 lots, Mr. Murphy owns one of the houses on the adjacent lot. Here. Bought the 2 lots from Arthur Bentis across the street back in 1986, December. In 1987, he proposed a plan. Back then, amazingly, the Conservation Commission approved. He applied on day 1. On day 2, they approved it and gave him an order of conditions. How's that for speed back then in 1987? So it was filed on September 21st. He was approved the next day, and he started construction on the house. There were always 2 lots. Back in 1987, those 2 lots met the zoning of 1 acre. There was no requirement for wetlands back then. That changed in 1991, as you know. I have a long piece of paper here that talks about the status. I'll skip all that. Basically, he always thought he had an extra lot, paid taxes on it. Taxes were pretty big for 24 years. Then he came to apply for a property development in 2012. So I'm going to jump all the way to 2012. We came here to talk about it several times, and the request was, why don't you go get a variance from the Board of Appeals and try to move the building as far away from the wetland as possible. So we did, and when they granted us, the Board of Appeals granted us the variance in, don't tell me I lost it, in 2012. I had it here. I believe, here it is. 2000, August 2012, August 30th. That was filed at the registry, it was recorded, and it was appealed by the neighbor. Thereupon began a long process that ended short term. It ended in November 2018. So that's 5 years later, the court process. And that included the actual court decision and then an appeal to the appeals court. And that ended in 2018. So why haven't we been here since 2018? Because the court at the time determined that the lots merged. In 1991, you changed the regulations and required a certain amount of wetland to be allowed on the lot. 80% of the lot had to be upland. Neither of these lots met that determination, so the court decided in 2013, and then it was appealed, and they agreed that the lots were merged for purposes of zoning. That means that if you, I won't get into it too much with you, but if you have a lot that is non-conforming, but you also own an adjacent lot under the same name, in other words, of Valerie and Terry Murphy, and it makes it less non-conforming, they automatically merge by law. And that's been around. It's the merger doctrine. It's not statute. It was around for, 50, 60 years. Everybody knows it in my business as the merger doctrine. Well, that changed last year under the housing bill that the governor passed. And so that's why we're here. That changed, and I'll give you the reference real quickly. MGL Chapter 48, Section 6 was amended in the acts of 2024, Chapter 150. Merger no longer applies if under certain circumstances. So the certain circumstances are the lots have to be at least 10,000 square feet. These are well over that, they're 40,000 square feet. They have to have 75 feet of frontage. Both of these lots have that. And so these lots unmerged by law this past spring. So now the lots are back as able to be developed. Now we know if we go back for the variance, that whole process is going to start all over again. So instead of going to the Board of Appeals for a variance, this plan, and what you have in front of you, that's the plan that we brought back in 2012. And you see in this plan, can I speak up loud?
Yeah, there's a mic there.
Oh, great. Back in 2012, when we were with this board, we did require certain waivers back then as well, and we applied for that. And you said, great, but do whatever you can to get closer, further away from the wetland. And we did. So we were 17 feet to the road here, which is obviously less than your 30. There's the 30-foot line. We were 32 feet here, 45 feet to the building, so we're slightly needed a waiver there. And you were good with that plan. You said that's fine, and we asked for a waiver of 10 feet to the property line. Like I said, the Board of Appeals granted it, but we're stuck in court. So getting away from the waiver from the property line and meeting the required setback of 25 feet, we have a building. The other condition on this merger thing is the building has to be less than 1,850 square feet. So they basically said you could do it, but keep the building smaller and try to help out with lower cost housing. And that's what Mr. and Mrs. Murphy will do on this, so that the finished area will be under 1,850 square feet. And what you'll see, and we'll be talking about this further, but I've gotten as close as 30 feet, or as far away as I could at 30 feet instead of the 45 in the other one, which makes sense. I lost the 15 feet from the variance. So I meet the variance, I don't need a Board of Appeals anymore, but now we've got to come and talk to you about hopefully giving us the relief we need. You are allowed, now I know you're quick, so I have a lot more to say, but we'll reserve that for another meeting, and I appreciate your time. You have a lot to cover on this, and you probably want to go into some more details, verify what I said and so forth. But under 187.5F of your regulations, there are ways that you can issue waivers. There has to be demonstrated substantial hardship to an applicant, and desirable relief may be granted without substantial detriment to the public good or without nullifying or substantially derogating from the intent of the bylaw. And I will show you, that's why I was asking maybe for a subcommittee, I could show you photos and pictures and where the building is and how it meets that criteria. I won't go through that now. We'll do that for an application. But I think we can meet it. But I wanted to bring this up to you tonight so you know what we're doing and perhaps understand it a little bit more, and perhaps if you think a subcommittee is in order to go into the details, we'd like to do that as well. So that was pretty quick.
Yep, okay, I appreciate that. David, do you have any comment? I know you had some discussion there on this.
So just first a question, Jeff. So the order of conditions that was issued in 1987 was for the existing house?
Correct.
Okay. You know, so the ZBA, way back when, the ZBA did grant a variance to the side setback. It was appealed by the abutter.
Correct.
That appeal prevailed in court.
Went through a full court process, hearing, I testified, others testified. We originally won, it was reconsidered, we essentially won part, lost part, but the critical parts were lost to make the project go forward. Parts related to standing and other legal issues we won, but other parts we didn't win. And so the biggest problem was the court determined specifically that the lots were merged. So even if we won other parts, we were not able to go forward with the project anymore.
So it wasn't appealed, neither the
It was
town nor
appealed.
the applicant appealed
The
it?
applicant appealed it, went to the appeals court, and they
And lost.
affirmed the
Lost it.
decision of the Superior Court.
So now that the lots are unmerged, they don't have to comply with any other aspects of zoning except for the 10,000 square feet and the 75 feet of frontage?
Oh, no, they still have to meet the minimum zoning of the town, which it still does. It has 40,000 square feet. It was a lot that previous to that, so at the time that it was unmerged, it didn't have to meet the wetland requirement. So yes, there are certain grandfathering provisions with it as well. But it still needs to meet the building setbacks. We can't just put a building anywhere we want. So zoning still applies.
But why doesn't the upland requirement apply?
Because it wasn't there in 1987 when the lot was created.
Well, I don't know. We might have to get some additional information on that. I have no other questions.
Okay, so does anyone have any questions? I'm not sure I'm ready to go for a subcommittee at this point. I think I'd like to see if you're going to submit I assume you're going to submit an NOI or an RDA.
Yeah, well,
At some
absolutely.
point.
I just didn't know what order you thought it would be best. If you weren't going to take this up at all, I mean, and there's some discretion here. And I know the history of this board doesn't like to do any waivers if they have it ever. So I didn't want to bark up the wrong tree and file a whole NOI if we weren't going to go anywhere with it.
I think I can speak for the board that we're loath to
I know that.
to that. Yeah, that's just something that unless it's really a hardship, we have in my time, and I only been 5 or 6 years, but I don't know that we've had any other than we had one recent. Yeah.
And what I'm saying is there's a hardship here. The lot was here, and I went through that last time as well. And I have really beautiful documents, I was reading them again this week, about how we presented that case. And the commission was amenable to some of those hardships then. That's why they were going to go forward with the project. But they just said, go as far, try to get a variance, which we got, so.
Okay. I'm not sure I'm ready to sign up for a subcommittee.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll just come back. I'll get a little bit more detail. Maybe I'll put a document in paper and writing, some of the stuff that I sent before, so you have it. That'd be fine.
Okay. Yep.
I think
Thank
what you
you.
want to do is file for an application.
Yeah. Yeah, an RDA. Yeah.
Whatever it's going to
Do it as an RDA?
Well, but an RDA is going to be a positive determination.
Right, that's what I said.
I don't know. I just have to speak my opinion. There's no point in doing any filing if ultimately it's just going to be a denial, really. Why go down that road,
Yeah,
And I haven't talked to any attorney, it's just me and Terry right now. But if we did that, it would meet all the requirements for the state. So I don't exactly know from our end, and I'm just openly saying this, if we would file a state application and not a town application, get approved by the state, denied by the town. We haven't explored any of that yet. So I just wanted to let you
Yep.
know what we're thinking now.
Yeah, understood. Appreciate that. Yeah, I'm with David. I'm not sure I see the hardship in my definition of hardship. But
So let me write it all down
Yeah,
and
yeah.
maybe talk to a lawyer and present it that way. But I think we're right, rather than keep coming in with a full NOI, which I know we could do.
Yep.
I'd rather address the key issue first, the details of the plan and where the patios are and the drainage. We could deal with that later.
Okay.
Well, but again, what's the point in your client paying you to do that if ultimately it's going to be a denial? You know?
Well, he's my friend. I'm not charging him, so there's no money involved.
Well, that's your call.
Exactly, I
Yeah,
know.
I think to hear David, I'm just from other hearings that we've had, we've been very, very loath to issue a waiver. I think that's the message.
I understood. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for keeping it brief. We will go to the next item on the agenda. So we have our friends from the Thanksgiving Forest, Mr. Boughton, Karen Walton, Robin. Who's first? Okay, Karen.
The gardeners.
The gardeners, okay.
We have some show and tell. Thank you for having us. We started-
Just for the record, you need to
Karen-
state your name and address.
Karen Walton, 33 Janet Road.
Thank you.
We thought you'd like to see the one-year progress of the forest. We started in November 2024 with your approval and support in the DPW. And I'd like to show you the before and after, the next slide. So this was the before, and as you can see, Robin's house is up on the hill. There's forsythia and 13 Norway maples that the DPW removed. And this is
Sorry.
this is the before, as you can see, and the after. You can show that now, when it was all cleared. It's pretty dramatic.
That's for sure.
It's pretty dramatic. We left the oaks and the trees that the DPW left. And Robin's is developing a hill with all natives. Okay, and the next one. So this is on the right side as you go into the forest. The garden's right in front of you on the right side is all the Norway maples again. And we came in, Carl and a crew and Jeff came in and removed the Norway maples. And you can see the next slide, how it's all clear right now. And you can see the white birch. This was the Thanksgiving walk, where there was 200 people. And a lot of them remarked on the progress of the forest and how wonderful it was. And the next slide. This is as you face, this is before the garden was put in. If you face, right, Robin, straight ahead towards the water, there's buckthorn, there's wisteria, and
More Norway maple.
and the grapevines.
Yeah, grapevine.
And the grapevine.
Some
Bittersweet.
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 Some, not much.
So these has all been hand-pulled too, that we worked this area. So if you go to the next slide, this is what we removed, the wisteria, which is right there, the buckthorn, and all the grapevines that were all under the soil. And the next slide is, now it's all clear. This is where it was, all of the buckthorn and the invasives. And Western Nursery called Phil Stanway and said they had 36 native plants to donate. So we put them in one day, right, the day before the walk. So this was the native garden that we put in. So the next step, the next slide. These are all the plants that they donated. We categorized them into Latin and cultivars. In the next slide, they were donated, 36, right?
So when were they planted?
25th of November.
Okay.
So I'm very, very,
Hey, if half of them survive, that's better than,
we were just talking
Yeah.
about that, the ground froze so fast.
yeah. Oh, that's right, yeah.
That we don't know if they will survive, you know, because we put trees in, there's an oak tree in there, a black oak. They gave us some trees, some shrubs, we're thinking, but Robin just planted some, by
The
more
wetland
moist,
ones,
the more,
yeah. And it was, the soil was fine.
the soil was fine, I believe, so we just planted, what was that the other day?
Karen, you're losing off the, you know.
Okay.
A couple of days ago.
A couple of days ago. So the next steps is we want to develop the right side where all the white birch are, with native plantings and the recolonization of plants. And Robin's going to talk about, or she can show you the wisteria first.
Okay.
Your name and your address.
Robin Holman, 38 Janet Road in Chelmsford. I will be as brief as I can. I just wanted to point out, in the last 2 years, we have found and removed, roots and all, multiflora rose, burning bush, bittersweet, honeysuckle, and tree of heaven, which were seedlings. Just
Oh.
pulled, just pulled out. Our main concern now is buckthorn and wisteria. I don't know if you have known of wisteria to be invasive.
Oh, yeah.
They were both introduced in this country in the early 1900s, and buckthorn is nationwide, has been a problem. Its Latin name is Rhamnus cathartica, which the second part tells you a little bit about what it does. The seeds are spread by female trees, and it's allelopathic, meaning that its roots exude chemicals that alter the nutrient content of the soil and prevents other plants from germinating. The cathartica part of the name refers to the disruption it causes in the digestive tracts of birds, amphibians, and mammals. And it doesn't kill them, but it definitely creates problems, and people too. So the buckthorn, the ones that were under 5 feet, most of them were hand-pulled, roots and all, and we used a weed wrench. So that was very successful. The wisteria that was a surprise. I think that I found a metal trellis that was thrown into the woods and had remnants of something wound around it. And then I realized that there was this wisteria everywhere, and I think that's what happened. It just escaped. And we just didn't realize how far it had gotten. It's never bloomed, and I think because it's trying to grow up, because it needs light, and it has not gotten up far enough because the trees are so tall. But the roots were unbelievable. This is 13 feet cut, one root. It's not the vine, it's the root. And the roots go a few inches under the soil, and they're ropey. You can just reach down and grab them and pull them up.
Did you say this is the bittersweet or the wisteria?
This is
That's the
wisteria,
wisteria.
Wow.
and they are everywhere.
Hundreds of feet we pulled.
Everywhere. And then at some point near the end, they shoot straight down. But other than that, they're just like these, they're everywhere. So we ended up with a pile of them, not wanting to compost them. So I think they came from a trellis. They are also allelopathic, and they are in the bean family, so they have nitrogen-producing, bacteria on them. But it's so high in nitrogen that native plants can't. It's too much nitrogen for them, and they obviously would have to evolve to be able to take advantage of that. So everything around both the buckthorn and the wisteria, there's nothing. When those areas were cleared, there's no understory. There are no ferns, there's no ground cover, there's nothing but bare soil. So we're hoping that once all of these things are removed, then things will begin to recolonize there. But it's
I wonder if we'll have to amend the soil in some way.
I think with the nitrogen issue, I think that disappears.
Yeah.
I think that
Nitrogen does.
eventually will go away. The buckthorn issue, I don't know. I mean, I know with garlic mustard that those chemicals will stay in the soil for a few years, but after a while, they'll disappear. Nature will eventually get rid of it. That's also in here too, but that's a whole nother
Would you
issue.
would you be willing to actively replant, say, if the Conservation Commission funds?
Well,
You know,
my suggestion was that we essentially, instead of replanting with plants that are not of the same ecotype, that is in the rest of the forest, that we, with permission, that we take some of the plants that are already in the forest in abundance, and that we basically transplant those into that area. I know that the maple leaf viburnum, you can already see
Yep.
it's starting to colonize. And down here, here's a starflower, there's Canada amianthemum,
Mayflower.
yeah.
Yeah.
But from here on, this is on the slope, from here down is where the buckthorn and the Norway maples were. There is nothing.
Oh.
So I think with careful replanting, I know there's, I made a list of them. There's ferns, a woodland fern, which are evergreen. There's also a highland blueberry, or it's a dry, anyway, it's got green stems, and it's just it's everywhere. There's there are just all kinds of plants. I've seen hazels in there, not a lot of them, but there are other plants that we could use to basically make that whole slope more of a seamless extension. It's not really a garden, but it just makes it to what it would normally look like. So that's my plan. We can do an inventory in the spring of what's available, and come up with a plan for it.
And send you our,
Yep.
our
Yeah, I mean,
request.
yes.
If we could recolonize
Yeah.
what is already there.
That's I like that approach.
Yeah,
I like
it-
that a lot.
it's-
We don't know what Weston gave us. and
Yeah.
if they're straight.
Yeah, and
These
they-
are straight,
Yeah,
ecologically
Yep.
straight.
yeah, I kind of
Non-GMO,
see it as
yeah.
being ecological, because
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
is,
eco-
it's an extension of what's already there.
Right.
We're not trying to put anything new in, it's all what exists, and
Best
it's,
approach.
I think it would work, I really do.
So
I
is this an
really do.
actual native wild rhododendron?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's on the hill.
well, that's not, that is the Kalmia, mountain laurel.
Oh, the laurel.
that's what I was
right.
wondering.
There's a rhododendron.
No, it's okay.
The
Okay.
rhododendron's down further.
There is
Yeah,
a
that's right.
rhododendron down there, and
Yeah.
we talked about whether it's the maximum, which is a native, but it's just so sparse that it could be the Catabians? So we're not sure. But there is definitely mountain laurel, and it is starting to colonize, but it's above where all the buckthorn and all the other things were. So I think just with careful digging, selectively deciding what should go in there, it can actually look just, like I said, seamless with the
Yeah.
rest of it, so.
And you saw how open it is now, and the white birch are just popping
Yep.
on that hill. It's open, and we'll get that
Yeah,
required circulation. And
I also want to note that we are aware that both buckthorn and wisteria will do revenge sprouting.
Yes.
And we are totally on that. We will totally be out there. I live next door, so and she lives next door too, so we will be out there getting it and trying to remove more of these as much as we can. This has started to spread into the forest. I noticed a couple of, yeah, you can see it. It just kind of runs right under the soil
Yeah.
and then sprouts up.
Good, we're getting it now.
Yeah, so we're on it. We're on
Awesome.
it, so.
and doing it physical and cultural, mechanical.
Yes, there's no chemicals involved in this at
That's
all.
absolutely preferred. It
So-
sometimes is the only answer, but,
Only answer,
but
but it works for us.
this is definitely a preferred
So-
way, yeah.
What we'd like to do is come back in the spring with a planting list and
Perfect.
make sure that we have approval. I mean, obviously, we're not moving lady slippers.
No, they won't survive, I don't think.
No, they
yeah,
won't survive,
yeah.
but it's only things that are easily transplantable and there are in abundance.
Right,
So-
and
I lo-
Robin, as Robin says, she would like it as a destination, a wedding destination.
Oh,
Pictures. And I think it could be.
It could be.
Because
yeah.
we're looking at benches and
Yeah.
an area
Oh,
for
nice.
families and
Okay.
sitting. Okay,
Anyway, great, thank you.
As long as it will, as long as the bride doesn't mind Fisher cats, Fisher,
Oh, yeah.
Jeff, do you want to come up?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, Jeff Booton, 36 Janet. And I did want to talk to you about Fisher cats and owls. The reason I got interested in them was over the last 2 years, I've been doing videos, and it was because of seeing them in so many videos that I started learning more about them. I've been doing it for 2 years, by the way, and have seen them over the 2-year period. So what I started doing is looking online and researching it, and there's a lot of places in the country that it had been eradicated by trapping and other issues. And there's a company called Davis Environmental that started working with the National Park Service back in the early 2000s to help them bring the fisher cat back to the northern states that border Canada. That's where they really were affected the most. And so they've been doing it for 2 decades, and a lot of what I'm thinking about doing here and making here comes directly from all the research they've done. And the interesting thing about fisher cats is they only nest in hollow trees with a very specific size entryway. And there's not a ton of that stuff out there. And also they're competing with owls, because owls, most of the owls, not all of them, but most of them have that same. And so you've got a lot of animals there fighting for the same. And so I got interested in Davis because of this video, and I'd never heard of a fisher cat nest before, nesting box. So I got interested in it after I saw this video, and it really explained a lot to me. And I think some of you have seen it, but I was hoping you could play it so anybody who hasn't could actually see what it is.
So I will play it right now.
3 minutes or 4 minutes.
Hello, I'm Larry Davis, and this is an update on the Fisher artificial den box study. Fisher have their young in large diameter hollow trees. Trees like that are rare in managed landscapes. We're trying to see if den boxes like this one will be used by Fisher to give birth to and raise their young. We've had great success in 2016 and 2017 with 4 different den boxes used for reproduction in each year. To help measure Fisher use, we mount a GoPro camera on a selfie stick to check the den boxes for kits and surprise this mother inside the box. Returning later, when she was gone, we were able to verify that she only had 1 kit. When we examined the inside of another den box, the mother there wasn't quite as gone. You can see the solitary kit below the female. This den box has 3 kits in it. Knowing how many kits fishers have provides important data for fisher population estimates. The entrance holes for our den boxes are sized to mimic natural dens. We think that females choose dens with entrances that just fit them to help exclude larger predators, including male fishers. This female is having trouble getting her kit into the box. I don't think he's quite ready for bed. As the kits get older, they are able to climb in and out of the den without the mother's help. But as all parents know, mobile youngsters can quickly get themselves into trouble. This kid has got his head stuck between a branch and the den box. The female is trying to get him out before his squealing attracts a predator. It took a while, but this mother was able to remove the skin before he attracted more trouble. This female has 2 hungry kits that you can hear inside the den box. Females often have to leave dens for extended periods of time, looking for prey. While she was gone, this male fisher found the den and is trying to gain entry by chewing the opening wider. Fisher are sexually dimorphic, with males being approximately twice the size of females. Unfortunately, this male is very persistent and was successful in entering the den box after approximately 30 minutes of chewing. These kits did not survive the encounter. We think that squirrel chewing damage around the opening facilitated the male's entry into the den box. Red squirrels are attracted to the glues in the plywood structure and you can see the amount of chewing on this box. To address this problem, we have installed solid wood door frames around the entrances of all den boxes. So far, we have seen very little chewing damage on the door frames, which should help address this problem. We also plan to change the design to include 2 layers of galvanized metal at the entrance. This will ensure that squirrels and male fishers are not able to enlarge the entrance. Monitoring this spring will determine if the door frames affect how fishers use the structure. We would also like to thank our project sponsors for their support and encourage you to check back for project updates this summer.
Sorry about that last part.
One of our best helmets just got better.
Kind of sad in some ways.
Well, it's nature.
That's nature, yeah.
And it wouldn't be any different than a fox or a hawk or, you know, anything else that lives off other animals. So I'm very interested in following what they're doing in the exact same way they're doing it, because it looks like they've really developed it nicely. And if you could put up the next photo.
Sure. Yeah.
And the fishers they're not endangered here, but they just they're having a hard time getting traction because of the lack of what they need to help reproduce. So this is my version of their thing. It meets all the same dimensional requirements that theirs do. I went different than the painted plywood. I went with other things that you see down at the forest that I've had my hands on. But I'd like to put 2 of those out, one on the Carlisle side and one on the parking side.
Both in Chelmsford, but just...
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But near the...
Yep, near the Great Brook side.
Yeah, and also I'd like to do owl boxes too. And there's 3 or 4 specific owls that are around this area. And they're nesting boxes are specific in their own ways, and what I'd like to do is to follow that and sprinkle some of those in those areas as well. Again, just to promote their being able to reproduce and live out in these areas. Did anybody have any questions?
So this opening looks, you know, relatively speaking, a lot larger than the openings that we just saw in the video.
You know, it does, but it's the opening that's on their plan that I got off of their. It's there. In fact, you know, I'll be doing a video on making this, and it'll actually show the plan. So dimensionally, it's all exactly what they recommended to me.
So this isn't going to be large enough to let the male fishers in?
According to them, what I'll do is, because you have a question on that, I'll reaffirm that with them, just to make sure that, because that could easily be made to be different. And this also has, you can't see it because it's the same color. It does have an aluminum bracket around the opening, so
Yeah,
it can't be
that
made
did
bigger.
look like metal.
But I will verify dimensionally that opening, because as they say, it's a very important part of that. Good question.
That looks like it'll blend right in, too. Yeah.
You know, that against a big, huge pine tree is just, except for its bulk, it's almost invisible. It really is the same color. And that was my intention, is to not have it stick out like a 6-year-old tree hut, so to speak. And nothing on those guys, but it's a much better looking.
Something else that I'd be curious to know, I mean, it looks like these will also be perfect places for raccoons to nest. I mean, I'm curious to know if raccoons ever get into these.
Well, part of the information I've seen from those guys is squirrels and other animals will, if it's empty, you know, owls too will actually. So, and in answer to that question, what they do is they bait, as soon as they put them out, they bait them up to to try to hurry that.
See.
And I had a little experience with that. Is a year ago, I baited an area on the far end of Thanksgiving Forest with protein to see what would show up. And I had a camera out there for almost 5 weeks, and 95% of the visitors were fisher cats. I'm not sure if it was the same one, or it kind of looked like the same one to me. But I have videos of other fisher cats in other areas. They're usually by themselves, although I have one video with 3 together and one with two together. But any questions, before anything goes up, I would answer for you.
Is there a particular time of year you'd put it up?
Well, I'd want to put it up as soon as possible, because what you want to do is put them up before they start looking. And they start looking the end of January, early part of February. And part of the issue for me is the thing weighs about 35 or 40 pounds. And if there's deep snow or something, that's going to be hard for me to, so I'm kind of racing the snow a little bit.
Okay.
But, it's whatever you guys think and decide. And the same with the owl boxes, if I could get some kind of feedback on.
I know all animals have a purpose in the forest. What do these animals do? Do they keep down certain critters? Or
Well, there's
have a
one
purpose.
notable. They're the only animal that can take down a porcupine,
Oh.
and that is one of their main. If they've actually introduced them into areas where porcupines were a problem, and that was reforesting areas. The porcupines would eat all the little stuff. They introduced the fisher cat, and the fisher cat is the only animal that helps control porcupines. Other than that, I mean, they like foxes. They eat chipmunks, squirrels,
They're
rabbits.
predators. They're predators, yeah.
I'm sorry?
They're predators.
Oh, absolutely. And they're no different. They just, I think there's a misconception about fisher cats. They look scary, they're dark, they're black, they look like a weasel.
Well, they supposedly howl as well, although I'm not sure that's actually true.
Some people with chickens might be a little upset.
Well, even foxes are a problem, and coyotes are a problem with chickens, and there's tons of them out there. I mean, they're everywhere. I was seeing coyotes in my backyard in Dunstable in the early 70s. I mean, they've been around a really, really long time. Is there anything else I can?
Well, Peter, you have a question or a comment?
Hi, Jeff. Thanks for the work, by the way. I'm curious, did you run across any information on how much space a typical fisher or fisher family requires? In other
yes.
words, in other words, what's a logical population for a
Well,
small piece of land?
I tried to find any information on fisher cat numbers in Massachusetts, Audubon, and some of the mass government sites. They all give great descriptions on how they live, what they eat, how long they live, what kind of area they need, but nobody has numbers. As far as the area, a female has pretty much like a 5-mile radius, and a male will be as much as a 15-mile radius.
For their range, yeah.
For their range, yes.
Yeah. But I know I've looked at, for example, wood ducks, and there's only a certain number of houses per, mile of river.
Yeah.
And I have no idea what that number would be for fishers, but it's something to think about.
I didn't read upon anything that would give me that kind of information. Good question, though.
Yeah, think about
But
it.
my intention, again, is to have one on each end, and it's apparently there's a real shortage of their breeding
Habitat.
needs. Yeah, exactly.
So I think I can speak for the commission. We support what you're doing here, giving you the okay to install a couple of fisher houses, as well as a handful of owl houses. I think that's a great thing. And I know you're doing a great job with the videos. What's the channel on YouTube?
Oh,
What's your advertisement?
Thanksgiving Forest.
I've got cards. Anybody want to?
But for all the viewers, Thanksgiving Forest on YouTube, if you look
Yes,
that up.
yes, you can find it on YouTube.
Yeah.
So do you have
definitely.
plans to monitor both the Fisher boxes and the owl boxes? You know, how they're being used?
Well, you know, I'm going to do the Fisher boxes exactly the same way they're doing them. So when I locate one, it'll be located across from where I can put a camera. And if it becomes occupied, I'll put a camera up and monitor it from there. You know, both the top and the ground. But yeah, no, it's all planned to. And I got to tell you, over 2 years of videos, I've bumped into more people that have said, wow, you know, I've seen your videos, and I never realized there was so much out there. And this would be a great learning experience, educational experience for people who just really don't know that much about animals.
Like most of us. But
Well,
certainly me.
I think it's a good opportunity again. And Fisher cats are really coy. You know, they're in the background. They are, you know, mostly night, but they do. I've got videos of them in the daytime too. But they're just rarely ever seen. They really shy away from people.
If I could just comment,
Yeah.
I did a quick Google search. Their range, they travel huge distances, is what I understand. And I wanted to point out the obvious. Thanksgiving Forest is connected up and down the river to, I don't know, what is it, 4,000 acres of conservation land in Carlisle and the Billerica Town Forest and our own Russell Mill Forest near you, John. And, you know, because they're not just living there. They're
Yeah.
Oh, no, and part of my, you know, putting it towards the Carlisle side end is to try to catch the loop that goes into Carlisle for their range. No, absolutely. You know, I'm trying to, you know, grab some of that too. Because, you know, Thanksgiving Forest is really nothing but a peninsula off of Great Brook.
Right.
It's,
Right.
you know, the way in and out, not taking, you know, because there's houses there where there's no houses. 1,200 feet, 1,500 feet, that's the only way in or out. And they're not coming from my neighborhood, you know, they got to start from somewhere. And I'm sure they're coming in and out of
Okay.
that area there.
Great. Thank you, Jeff.
We okay?
We're good.
Yeah,
All
okay.
good.
Please.
Yep.
All right,
Thank you.
thanks, I really appreciate
We
your time,
appreciate the
guys.
work, and
Yeah, thanks.
we like the attention on nature and the habitat and the wildlife. Thank you
Yeah,
very much.
thank
Yeah.
you.
Yep. Okay, now we have the report of the planning board liaison to the commission. Hello, good evening, Chris.
Good evening, Chris LaValle with the Planning Board. Because of the Thanksgiving holiday, we did not have a meeting since your last Concom meeting, so nothing to report there. But this week, we're likely closing most, if not all, of our public hearings. The Chelmsford Mall project has withdrawn, so we'll not be hearing any more on that project for a little while at least. The 2 fire stations will be probably closing and voting on those. 133 Princeton Street, site plan modifications, and then 152 Stedman Street project. Those will be the public hearings that we'll be closing out on. And then the second part of the meeting will be reviewing a list of zoning articles that we're going to start finalizing to bring to town meeting in the spring. And the select board will be signing the warrant on February 16th. So pretty much the next 3 planning board meetings will be doing a lot of zoning articles, public hearings and informal sessions, getting ready for the spring town meeting.
Okay,
That's it.
any questions or comment? No? Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Chris, appreciate it. Okay, that is it on our intro session. Regulatory hearing. First up is we have a RDA for Jeffrey Hansel at 16 Freeman Road. Peter, would you like to read it? Can you read it
Sure.
from there?
Can you see that?
Yes. Pursuant to the provisions of the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act, MGL 131, Section 40, and the Chelmsford Wetlands Bylaw, Chapter 187, the Chelmsford Conservation Commission will conduct a public hearing in room 204 at the Chelmsford Town Offices, 50 Billrica Road, on Tuesday, December 9th, 2025 at 7 p.m. to consider a request for determination of applicability filed by property owner Jeffrey Hansel for proposed work in a 100-foot buffer zone to inland bank, parentheses, intermittent stream, at 16 Freeman Road, further identified as Assessor's Map 113, Block 427, Lot 14. The project entails construction of a 45-foot by 23.5-foot attached garage totaling 1,057.5 square feet with a second-story accessory dwelling unit.
Thank you, Peter. Appreciate your reading it. Hello, good evening. Can you introduce yourself and tell us about your project?
My name is Evangelos Sterianos. I'm the licensed general contractor representing Mr. Hainstein. He couldn't be here. He called me late this afternoon. He said, could you please go? He's some personal matter he had to take care of. So I called David. David said it would be fine.
Yep.
So we were hired by Mr. Hainstein to build this garage. His mom is currently living with them. And the idea is for him to renovate the second floor of the garage as an ADU, legal ADU, so then she'll be close to him and have better care of it. He had an engineer, and then what had happened was the engineer passed away, and then we had to rehire a new engineer to go out and do the survey, and finding out that there's wetlands close to us. We hired a wetland scientist to go out there. And I worked with David. I went out there with David once to see what we needed to do. There is some protection barriers that will have to be put up there while this construction is being done. And then we found out that actually the sewer line is going straight underneath this property, well, where this garage is going to go to. So now we have to kind of work around where this sewer line is going to go. In one way, it's good because it will be right where we need it to be to tap into it for the new bathrooms and whatever needs to go into their plumbing. But I worked that out with the engineers and the DPW. He said that we would be able to move it from one side to another and then reuse it without having to dig it up, because that would just totally,
Yep.
since all the ground is totally frozen, that wouldn't be happening anytime soon. So I'm glad that we worked that out a couple of days ago. So we're all set with that. And again, the idea was he was going to use the second floor garage with a master bedroom, but seeing how his mom, I think, and that's why he wasn't here today, is ill. I said to him, hopefully she gets to use it. What can I say? I don't know. I mean, it's just, you get old and you get sick, and it's expensive for everyone. I know this will be number 12 ADU that I've done. I've done 6 over garages. I've done some in basements. I've done, once they change the law, it's usually the same people trying to take care of their either parents or the children coming back from college without a job and having them somewhere to go. So for us as a contractor, the problem is that every place we go to, depending on what city, the town has different ordinances that are attached to the ADU, so it becomes, instead of 1 month, it becomes 2 months or whatever, but it's understandable because it's a new process. So, like I said, I'm hoping this works out.
So this is I understand it, you're inside the 100-foot buffer, but barely in a way. David, you've been to the property?
Yes,
And
yes.
Can you tell us what your findings?
So, so the proposed addition, it's going in lawn, it's existing lawn. So no trees are going to come down. It's 87 feet from the bank, or the closest approach is 87 feet. So it's, I've been here long enough to know that, this is pretty typical for a negative determination here in Chelmsford.
Mm-hmm.
So just a negative determination with standard conditions, that's all.
Is there a concern with, let the commission ask questions. Peter, anything?
Yeah, hi. There's a lovely tree just off the corner of the existing house. Can you comment on whether you're planning on taking that tree? It is within our jurisdiction, the 100-foot buffer.
Right, so no, we are not touching it. And that was the other thing I think I had mentioned. So the shoreline runs almost right underneath where we are. And when I spoke to the engineer at the DPW, I said, for the shoreline to come out from that area, it would have to loop around closest to where that tree would be. And then we would be running into an issue of doing any damage there, because obviously the roots do go far down, but this line goes down at least 6 feet. But once we loop over, then we lose all the pitch. So the simplest thing, without doing any damage or any erosion to the other side, would be to leave it where it is, and to come from the foundation into it without moving the whole line all the way around, without damaging it. So our intent was not to touch it, no.
That's great. And just a suggestion, either for you as the contractor or for our board, if our board would like to make it a permit condition, but the experts tell me it's very important to not run construction equipment over the roots of a big tree like that. And it's kind of hard not to do that when you're, understand the.
So
think about that, how you might protect, not just the trunk, but try to avoid driving heavy equipment over the roots. And I realize that may be hard when you're excavating the foundation. I know there's challenges.
Yeah.
But that would be a suggestion to think about.
Well, we did that actually when we spoke to the engineer regarding moving that soil line. Our concern was that we would be so close to that tree that just leaving it right where it is would be, the best for everyone, because that's at least 25 feet away from us. If we had to move the entire pipe, we're basically putting it within 10 feet of that tree. So I'm glad that we decided not to do that.
Right, but my suggestion is not the digging, it's the putting heavy equipment. Compacts the roots, and we have plenty of examples in town of beautiful old trees like that that are toast because construction either piled material on top of them or ran a couple of excavators over it and they're buried. So that's just a suggestion. Yeah.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ellie? You good? Mark?
Topo, does it drop off a lot in the backyard, David?
No, it's a pretty gentle slope down toward the wetlands.
You have any problem with the sheds in the backyard? Just leave them alone?
Yeah, they've probably been there for ages.
Okay.
I don't know, but.
I'd like to see on the plan the setup for the wattles. So when you excavating, I'd like to see them in the plan. I'd also like to see a place where you cast the soils when you're doing the excavation. I'd like to see it on the plan, that's all. That was it. Everything else is pretty cut and dry.
Appreciate it.
Johnny?
No, I think it's fine. No, like Mark said, just, if they put the wattles at the 50-foot mark, whatever, just draw it in there.
Okay.
Cast the materials where the future gravel's gonna be.
Okay.
Driveway,
All right. Thanks, John.
No.
Okay. This is a public hearing. Are there any questions from the public? If you're from the neighborhood or anybody from the public, you're welcome to come up. No? Don't see anything. All right. So, hearing any further comment or anything?
No.
So I think just the only condition would be kind of just what Mark was saying.
Yep, just get me a revised plan as soon as you can.
Yeah.
Showing the erosion, the proposed location of the erosion control, and where the excavated soil is going to be.
Yeah, I'm not sure which version you guys have, because I think when these scientists came out, we sent it back out to the engineer, and then he was supposed to send a revised showing where the berms were gonna be and all that other stuff. So I will check to see which one I sent him, because we lost the engineer, he had passed away, it was kind of.
Yeah, we'll let David figure that out.
Yeah.
As long as, we're comfortable with that. Yeah.
So did I hear you say, Angelo, you weren't going to be starting or hoping to start digging anytime soon?
Well, we're debating on that right now because the ground being totally frozen, and obviously, the excavator said that if for some, if it's doable, we'll try, but if it's not, we're not gonna do it, we'll just hold off on it.
And it's also gonna be difficult to put in the erosion control as well.
Yeah, and it's sort of like weather. I mean, we're in Boston, there's no snow, but you guys have snow already here, so, and the weather changes so fast, we don't want to start something and leave it. So we're sort of debating on that start date.
Okay,
But
so
beforehand, I'll fill in whatever missing parts there is for you.
I'll take a motion to close the hearing.
I make a motion to close the hearing.
Motion from Mark, do I have a second?
Second?
Second from John, all in favor? Aye. Take a motion to approve this with a -3?
That'd be a -3 with standard conditions. So did you say you wanted to see the tree shown on the plan as well?
Well, it'd be nice just to draw it if we have to draw the wattles anyway, but.
Okay, I mean, is that
I'll let
something
you
that?
decide.
Yeah, I can get in touch with them and
Okay.
just have them add on to it, because they already did the survey for us, so I could just
Okay.
have them fill that in.
Right, so with the conditions specified, the tree, make sure the installation of the wattles on the drawing.
And there are a number of other standard
Yeah,
conditions,
yeah.
you know.
David can work that
Yeah.
through.
Yeah,
We're good.
I'll let
So-
you know when the paperwork's ready.
I appreciate it.
Take a motion to approve with those conditions.
I move we approve with the conditions just mentioned.
Second.
Motion from Peter, second from Mark, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Motion's
Thank you.
approved, project's good, good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Yeah,
David.
yeah.
Next up, we have, this is continued from our previous meeting. This is the NOI for 30 Bowl Road Extension. And David, I know that you were going to connect with the Lowell planner
Yes,
agent.
yes.
And,
It doesn't look like anyone's here. But yeah, I can certainly update the commission. So I did have some back and forth with the Lowell agent, actually the assistant planner there, saying that because this property is most easily accessible from Chelmsford, so the Chelmsford Commission would be happy to take the lead in drafting conditions. So I did send him a draft order. Again, it's pretty standard for this, and he said he would present it to his commission, which is having this hearing tomorrow night, and would get back to me if there were any additional conditions that they wanted included. I mean, they'll still have to issue their own order, but say something like, shall adhere to the Chelmsford Conservation Commission order of conditions.
okay. So I think that's, I think that was the only thing we really had open on this, if I
Yeah.
remember right.
Yeah.
So,
And I did do a site visit, so I'd say a standard order of conditions on this. I think, though, that you also should take a vote to waive both the 25-foot no disturb and 30-foot no impervious surface setbacks under the bylaw. So you probably take that vote first, I would suggest.
okay. I'll take that vote, unless there's any further discussion, if anybody has any.
I make a motion to approve the 25-foot and is it 25 and 50?
25 and 30.
30.
And in fact, I test people. Why doesn't it need a waiver for the 50-foot no build? See how sharp you are.
Good question.
Year of construction.
No.
Oh, because it's not that's not in our Chelmsford bylaw, because the structure's in Lowell.
No.
No?
No.
Those are good answers.
I thought I had it.
Those are great answers.
Please, teacher, what's the answer?
Because it's less than 40,000 square feet. And that requirement only pertains to 40,000 square foot or
Is
greater.
that also by the date and the square footage or just the square?
Well, the date is if the structure were built before the bylaw was enacted in 1982. This is older than that. I forget the. I'm sorry. This is younger than that. I forget the year. So that exemption, that really is an exemption that does not apply in this case. But in your vote to grant the waivers, you should explicitly state due to demonstrated hardship pursuant to
Right.
187 section
Discussed
F.
last time, yeah.
Under what section?
Section 180, section 187, paragraph F.
Yeah.
Very specific.
Yeah.
Very impressed.
Hopefully you'll remember that.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Okay, so,
What'd he say?
so we have the motion for the waivers. So motion from Mark, do we have a second?
Second.
Second from Ally. All in favor?
Aye.
Then we have a motion, did we do a motion to close the hearing? Should we have done that
You,
first?
you don't necessarily have to close the hearing to vote on the waivers, but
But-
yeah, I think the next step would be to close the hearing.
Okay, so I'll take a motion to close the hearing.
Doesn't look like there's anyone
Is
here
there
from the
anyone
pub-
from the public who wants to speak on this?
Yeah.
I don't see anyone, okay. Thanks for,
Motion to close.
motion to close from Peter, second from Ally, all in favor?
Aye.
I close the hearing. And then I'll take a motion to approve this with it's still, again, a -3
No, this is an order of conditions, so
Oh.
it'd be a standard order,
standard order.
standard
Okay.
order of conditions, yeah.
For the standard order of conditions, right?
Yeah.
Take a motion for standard order of conditions. Do I get a motion? I miss Chris, Chris, we just fall apart.
What's happening? We need our lawyer.
I'm sorry if I'm responsible for this.
I make a motion to, whatever you,
Whatever we have to do.
Approve
Right.
with the standard order of conditions.
standard order condition.
Okay, motion from Mark,
I second that.
second,
Yeah.
second with Ally.
Are you
Yeah.
sure?
All in
I
favor?
wouldn't.
We miss our lawyer. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, okay.
Oh, boy.
Thank you. All right, then we are good to go. We'll
That was
have that.
smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty smooth.
Oh, Chris, come back. All right, all right.
I hope he's not watching.
His head's gonna get big. Okay, next one up, we are at notice of intent, continued from our last meeting, Pro Generation Energy Incorporated, 152 Stedman Street. You don't look like you're in Scotland this time.
I am not in Scotland. I do appreciate you moving me up in the agenda last time.
You
out
stayed
there.
up late.
Out there, so yes,
all
I
right.
I would have been snoozing by the time you got to
Yeah.
me, if it was on the regular agenda there.
All right,
Again,
so let's see, we continued to review the recent information, and I think the latest issue was about the site compliance monitor, right, David?
Yes, and I have had some discussions with Bruce on that. So they're actually, I think really the only main thing left to resolve is the special conditions. But I first want to talk about, so Weston and Sampson had made a recommendation for a special condition, and I don't have it in front of me, I apologize, but you had some suggestions about revising that. Was that revision included in what you sent me as a draft?
Yeah, yes, and again, I just want to point out, Anthony Shaw from Pro Generation is here tonight out there. I just wanted to introduce him to the commission. But yes, so they had written up, there was a condition that was written up through the planning board process about a winter stabilization plan. And my interpretation, what Weston Sampson was concerned about, and their comments were more having large areas of the cap stripped off and not stabilized out there. So I rewrote the language a little bit, suggested some language that would address that, as well as a winter stabilization plan. You know, there's no intention to do winter construction here. It's not a site that really lends itself to that out there, and the timing of the project. So, we'll leave that in there as a condition, but it really was, I really tried to expand that a little bit more to cover that idea that, that you don't strip off 7 acres of the cap and then try to catch up. It's sort of like a cascading process through the site out there, and that we would submit a schedule to demonstrate that as a condition of the.
Okay.
Of the
I'll go back and review your suggested language, which I remember at the time thinking that was fine. And then the other condition that we've talked about is, the town, which, in this case would be the Conservation Commission and the Planning Board, we typically do, hire a site compliance monitor to, visit the site periodically. And last I spoke with you, Bruce, it sounds like, you were agreeable to that, you and your client were agreeable to that.
Yeah, I think what we tried to, we discussed was that because this is a landfill, there's a higher level of oversight that's required by a third-party engineer, environmental monitor such as myself, out there. But David mentioned that David's concept was that somebody from, say, Weston and Sampson or somebody representing the town would come out once a week or so for. Again, this is going to be a fairly fast-moving, again, at some point, it's just putting panels on. I don't think they need to be out there for that. But, when the actual stripping and earthwork is going on, for 8 to 10 weeks and doing that, and that seemed to be a reasonable approach to, to provide the commission, and obviously the planning board would have a similar input to that.
The idea being coordinating so that it's.
Right.
Yeah, so I think, I think the specific language would be, and I think this should be acceptable to the planning board as well. It just say, pursuant to the revisions of, such and such regulations, the Conservation Commission may hire a site compliance monitor to, inspect the site for, erosion control and things like, or I would say probably compliance with the order of conditions.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
Generic, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
But what I think is a practical matter, it will be mostly, checking erosion control.
Right. And I think we talked that the planning board may have a more, the site plan and some of the,
Yes.
some of the specific aspects of the
Yes,
of the
they,
work. They may want
as you
to-
all know, that the commission's jurisdiction extends only to 100 feet away from the wetlands.
Right. So that, again, obviously we'd want the same person to do, while they're out there, do the work, but that's acceptable.
And I think it does make sense that it'd be Weston and Sampson, so.
Yeah, they've been educated on the project and.
So we will get a proposal from them and, give it to you for your review. And do you have a general time frame at this point for getting started? with the
It won't
project?
be until the spring, out because of the weather and some of the conditions that the prior RDAs talked about out there. Just, because once they get going, they need to just move along there. So probably April 1st timeline, weather dependent out there. That's what we've talked about.
Okay,
Okay.
that's all I have to say.
All right. Any other questions from the commission on this? I'm looking around, I don't see any more. This is a public hearing, so are there any questions from the public? Seeing none. Okay, then I think we are at a point where we can close the hearing. Take a motion to close the hearing.
I move we close the hearing.
Motion from Peter, do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Ally, all in favor? Aye. Okay, a motion to close the hearing passes, so now we take a motion for approving the project with the stated conditions, the standard conditions
And the two special conditions we just discussed.
Yeah. Can you just say them one more time?
So one is, I mean, this is generally speaking, not the exact language, but one is for a work sequence for winter site stabilization, and the other is for the commission to hire a site compliance monitor to check for adherence to the order of conditions.
At this point, it's not just winter, it's just a general site sequencing, construction
okay.
sequencing plan, because I think
Okay.
this is a project that won't happen in
Yeah.
the winter
Yeah, I
necessarily.
think that's
We
right.
left that in there because in case something comes up, but that's the case.
Whenever, yeah. Okay, so moved.
So moved.
So the motion from Peter, as stated, and we have a second. Ally, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay.
Great. Thank you very much. Out there, have a
Thank
good
you.
evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next up, we have, we need to get a motion to continue the hearing for New England Power at 1 Ecuador Road to January 13th. So moved.
So moved.
So moved from Mark. Mark, and second from Peter. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so 100 Ecuador Road, January 13th. Nothing in discussion, I think. Continual business, we have bylaws and regs. I know we did hear from Alex from the town council, but I think we're not quite ready yet to present that to the rest of the commission yet, but I think we're in good shape, and it's gonna be January, so we will have to do a little bit of a sprint, so maybe we'll have a draft of a bylaw, of a town meeting article for a bylaw for the January 13th meeting, hopefully, or at least in principle, may not be the wording, but we'll have something. But what I heard from Chris earlier is February 16th is the select board warrant signing, so somewhere before then, we need to get it to Paul's office.
Well, I'm going to speak to Paul, actually ask him if the town council can draft it. Maybe Paul can draft it himself, but I would think he would be, working on it with town council. So I will speak to him.
Okay.
To speak about that.
All right, good. Anything else on continual business? There was nothing on the agenda. So land management conservation site update. So Peter, nice job on the Thanksgiving presentation tonight. You get the Thanksgiving forest.
I don't even know what to say. Like our local team just takes care of everything.
They do a great job. The other thing that wasn't mentioned is that Jeff has gone out and started the process of improving the trail marking on the site as well, because it's been kind of lacking. And so that's happening as well. So that's good.
Right, and I think, it goes without saying that the beauty of what's going on, the critter work on the critters and the plant native and invasive removal, that's a model that fits some of our other conservation land that has the same situation with just a few problem plants at the edge.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking downstream of that, so it's a good thing.
They know their stuff. They know their stuff, yeah, it's good. It's good to see. Ally is now our Lime Quarry representative, so thanks for taking that on, appreciate that. And I just got a text today from Bill Robbins, who's the steward there, and he showed me a picture of a box spring. Somebody left a box spring in the parking lot. Nice. So he did submit a C-click fix, and hopefully DPW can get it picked up.
Okay, do you want me to talk to them about that? Or?
No, he submitted one.
To DPW?
Yes,
Oh,
he submitted one to, and I assume it'll go to DPW. If we see it, then we'll.
Yeah, I don't think it will automatically go to DPW.
Depends on what you select. You have to select something, so we'll see what happens. Anything else on Lime Quarry? Just
took it over today, so
Yep.
no, not yet.
No, come on, you're not up to speed yet. We can go.
No, I just took it over
Yeah, we'll go. Let's go walk it together one of these days. Yeah, it might need spikes if you have spikes, but we can. It's good. It's a good site. All right. Anything on Red Wing? I don't know of anything going on there at Red Wing. John, anything at Russell Mill?
everything's good.
I don't think.
Speed bumps are still there.
Speed bumps are there. Good.
Carl?
Yep.
Red Wing, I think there'll be an article in Paul Cohen's next newsletter. Our communications team has been working with the leader of that project to put a few words to thank everybody.
Oh, on the fencing.
Yeah, I'm sorry, yes.
Yeah, good.
That'd be good.
Yeah, it's a good.
You have to do something like that.
Oak Hill, I mentioned the Beaver Dam last time. Bill's not here, but I know he was talking to some of the folks at the gun club, and they're concerned about the Beaver Dam because if you remember 2 or 3 summers ago, the dam that was further upstream, it was much more water and let loose. I have to say, I'm not sure it was naturally let loose just the way it was, but that's just me. That's just my opinion. I'm not stating anything that I know. But that caused a lot of damage in the gun club in terms of their
Trout pond.
Trout pond, yeah. So they're concerned about this, but I think all I can say right now is we'll keep an eye on this. It's not anywhere near the size of what I understood that other dam to
And
be.
I don't think it ever would be.
Yeah, and it's also what I saw from it a couple of weeks ago, or last week when I saw this dam. It's a good size. It's a good sized dam, but I think we should look at getting a beaver deceiver installed in there that will just keep the water flowing and not let it get too big beyond what it is. So we should look into that.
You don't think traffic's necessary?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't think so. Not right now. This is actually a good place for them. This is where you'd want them.
Okay.
To me, it's really just below the solar field. You know, there's a lot of, you know, I suppose in some you know, I can't even imagine it getting up to the solar field or anything.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty high.
Yeah, it'd have to get way, way up there.
Is it
So
up near the bridge?
you just stand at the bridge and look upstream, and you
Oh,
can't
okay.
miss it.
All right.
You can't miss it. Yeah. And there's another one just downstream, because I saw the one downstream first. And I said, oh, look, there's water here. You know, it's more than the normal amount of water. And then I turned and looked upstream and went, oh, there's a much bigger dam upstream. So, but yeah, you just stand on the bridge, you can see it.
You think people are planting these beavers?
I don't know. Beavers have been around a lot longer than we were. A lot
Well,
longer than we've been, yeah.
well, they were gone for a long time.
Yes.
And,
They were gone
and then
for
the
a long
state
time.
brought, the state did bring them back.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Nothing at the Cranberry Bog that I can think of right now. The Warren Pole, we do have a small group of people looking at the interpretive signage project. I think I've talked about this in the past, quite a while ago, that we have access to some money from a generous donation through the Chelmsford Land Trust to put some good interpretive signing in there. And so we have a small group of people working on just getting going finally. We started and stopped a couple times, like 2 or 3 years ago, and we're finally getting going again. So hopefully that'll happen, and we're going to talk about sort of the history of the site, you know, big picture history of the site, some agriculture aspects, as well as how this site fits into the overall area, watershed and ecosystem and habitat and wildlife and all that. So there's some good opportunity to put some good stuff in. And I think the signs will be, because the money's not, it's a decent amount of money. We should be able to get a you know, quality signage in there.
Can we kind of review the signage before I get
Sure.
done? Okay.
Sure. Yep.
Hey, Carl?
Yep.
Not to delay this, did you have a vision of how big?
I don't know yet. I don't. Yeah. I don't really know. I think, and I don't think we want 20 signs. I think we want like 3 or something like that, and kind of spread out a little bit. But they really should be discreet to me and not just detract from. I mean, it's a beautiful, beautiful spot, and
Right.
So you don't want it to be like putting a sign right in the middle of the field. It's like, nope,
Right.
no, we don't want to do that.
Billboard?
Yeah. Look at how beautiful this field is. Like, no.
Here's a picture of the field.
I got a question on coolers.
Yep.
Have they been surveying up there?
The surveying was done months ago, and
Yes,
we're
yes.
still waiting.
We are
The actual
still
plan.
waiting for the recordable plan.
Henry mentioned something to me this morning about, did they mark the wetlands in the hayfield or something?
Way back, like a year ago or
Yeah.
more, but nothing.
Yeah.
I don't think the
I don't know, he
surveyor
was
went
talking
over there.
about They used the metal, the little metal flags.
Yes, when they did the delineation, yeah.
Yeah, but-
They use metal tags as well as the blue flags.
Yeah. You don't want to put that in the hayfield.
Yeah.
If you kill a $30,000, $40,000 horse,
Really?
oh, yeah.
You mean if they eat it?
No,
Yeah,
he's
if it
talking
gets
about.
in the hayfield, if you bale the hay,
Yeah.
and it goes to the farm,
Oh.
and the horse eats that metal stick,
Okay.
we gotta be careful.
Okay,
Okay,
well,
that's all.
thank you, that's good to
Yeah,
know.
good to know.
Okay, so,
And the other thing is, I know Bill has been chasing the sign, getting the sign installed at Coolis, and given the weather, we'll see. We gotta dig a couple of holes, so we'll see about that. Oh, and we need to talk about the fence. And did you clarify anything with our defense on that? whether or not the option one, option two?
Didn't have a chance to, but I'm inclined to agree with you, you know, looking at those quotes that,
Yeah.
that they would, two together
Okay.
would be, you know, the entire perimeter.
Not that expensive.
It's 13 grand total.
Almost
so-
14.
So let me describe what we're talking about, and I think we should vote on it, because because the next conservation meeting isn't until January 13th, and I'd like to have this go to a CPC meeting in January, which would be right around the 13th, I think. So this would be, the quote came in three parts. The first part would be a guardrail that would go right across, and it's 61 feet long, and if you're driving in the driveway into the parking lot, it would be the fence. The fence would be right across where the stones are right now, looking out to the field. So it would look better than the stones. It would be better than having these big rocks there. And that one's $2,800 installed. So it's 61 feet of a 61 feet of a low. It's wooden posts with metal guardrail.
I think I remember they were 4x10
Yeah.
rails and 6x6 post bolted in.
Well, you're talking about the guardrail,
The
right?
It's the
Guardrail,
guardrail.
yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
You need
Yeah,
that
and it's-
guardrail?
Yeah, because you don't want people driving into the property and all that. And this would be just like the one at Warren Pole along the driveway. It would be the
Yeah.
same kind of one. So I think it would be,
I think it looked nice.
yeah, it'll look nicer than the rocks are kind of in that spot. There. Second part is a,
Rocks are antique.
hmm?
Rocks are antique,
Yeah,
guardrails
I
are,
know,
you know,
I know,
new school.
I know.
And the
Just
glacier
let you
left it.
know. The granite's antique.
So the other part is, we want
That
to
was a big concern up
delineate,
there.
we want to delineate the vernal pool buffer area. So this would be a split rail fence that we have it in two sections. So one would be all the way in around the backside coming towards the parking lot, and that's 470 feet, and it's $7,750 installed. And then there's another section that would go from that back corner of the parking lot up to the front of the parking lot near where the driveway clicks, and that's only 116 feet, and it's $3390. So all told, for so for those two split rail fences, it would be $11,140, and the combined split rail fence and the guardrail would be $13,940. My math is right. I think that's right. And this is a quote from RD Fence in Billerica. We've worked with them before. The DPW works with them. They're kind of the go-to for this kind of fence work. So the proposal is to vote and approve this for installation whenever the weather allows it. The money would come from the CPC, the Community Preservation Act Fund. I'm quite sure there's money for this kind of thing, and this is for a site that is that was bought with this kind of money. So it's totally, to me, it's totally appropriate. It still has to pass them, but I'd like to be able to tell them that the commission approved this. So,
I get a
questions?
question.
Yep.
Are you gonna remove the stones?
Yeah, we pull the stones
Pull
out
the
of there.
stones out?
Yeah, we'll bring them to your house, John. No. No,
Well, that's a good question.
It's actually a good question where to put them,
Oh,
because there's not
We
a
don't
lot.
have no stones on Mill Road.
Yeah. We'll put them right in the road.
Speed bumps, yeah.
Speed bumps. No, I'm not a believer in stones.
But I think it would be better to remove them off site rather than just put them in a pile.
Yeah,
somewhere.
yeah, we have to
definitely.
figure out what to do with that, and that,
Yeah.
we'll have to work with DPW
That's
on
what I was
that.
gonna
That's-
say. This
that's-
gotta be coordinated.
That's not a fence, that's not
If
a
we
RD
vote on
fence.
it, it's gotta be coordinated to get rid
Yeah,
of the
we'll-
stones.
We have to figure out where to.
Yeah.
You
we'll
sure you
talk-
wanna put a metal guardrail?
No,
Yeah.
it's wood, it's all wood.
I
Oh,
think
it's
it's
all
all
wood.
wood. I think it's all wood. I think
thought I heard
misspoke.
metal.
I think I misspoke.
Okay,
Yeah, it's-
I'm
it's-
questioning that.
It's 4x10s.
Oh.
And then 6x6s.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, metal doesn't
You wanna make a
go.
motion to, not to exceed amount?
Yeah, make it like 14 grands,
Okay.
yeah.
Are we, that need a discussion? We have to
Any
vote?
further discussion? No. It's split rail fence, it's got locust posts, it's got a couple of different hardwoods for the rails, it'll all be the same. It just depends on what their supply is. It's 2-rail, not 3-rail. If you remember our Red Wing Farm, we had 3-rail to match what was already there. But in this case, two rail is more than adequate for what we're looking for.
Yeah.
I make a motion
Yep.
to,
Approve the spend of,
not to exceed $14,000,
for the fence.
whatever, as described prior.
Okay, that works for me. Thanks. A motion from Mark,
Second?
second from John.
I love spending money.
All in favor? Aye, okay.
Aye.
All right, thanks.
Well, there really is plenty in the CPA account.
Yeah.
There really is, so.
Yeah, this is,
It
and
does
this is,
need
to be- Makes it even better.
this is what it's for. This is
Yeah.
exactly what
Yeah.
it's for, so. All right, and, was there anything else on Coulis? I don't think so.
Has the new trail been,
They've
Cleared yet?
started marking it out, and you know, weather's not cooperating a lot, but you know, you can do a lot of the work. And I know they want to get some equipment in there, but I haven't been over there in a week or maybe even a little more.
it'd be really great if we could get a group together for invasive management there, like they're doing at Thanksgiving. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, well, they've done a lot there.
Well,
They've
they
done
have.
a lot of invasive
They
at
have.
Coulis. They have done a lot
Yes.
there. I will note, I sent around to all of you guys, the video that Pete Dews from Chelmsford
Yeah.
Telemedia did of the his visit to the Coulis farm on the day of, it was a week ago today when we had snow. I think it was Tuesday. And it was quite good. It was really, really a good video with his drone. And it was a nice overview, high-level view of the site. And then he took the drone through the trails, and it was
Put it all in music.
with some music, very nice music. It was very calming, and
Yeah.
it was quite nice. Yeah. So kudos to Pete, and he's offered to help us as he did with Cranberry Bog. We can do some more of that. Agents report, David.
So the only thing I was going to say, getting back to Warren Poll, is I'm just going to be writing and submitting a grant to, we have a proposal from Oxbow Associates doing, introducing the Garicella beetles at Warren Poll to attack the purple loosestrife. Because there was a pretty severe infestation this year.
Yeah.
For some reason, when it hasn't been too bad in past years. So, you know, the beetles have been proven to be effective. Now, my concern is maybe there's something in the environment or something that's now causing them to decline. So that's been included in the proposal to look at.
So
That's
is
3,500.
well before my time, but Mark and Chris and Bill might remember that we did this as a commission many years ago in various areas.
Yes, yeah,
The
yeah.
agent at the time kind of championed it. There was some schools involved, but I think this is the right approach for this, to do this. And I know, Peter, in your backyard, it's been pretty effective.
Well, when they released the beetles, within 2 years, I don't know, 10, 20 acres of loosestrife were gone. However, at that same time period, a beaver dam, historic beaver dam, had grown.
Oh, okay.
And the loosestrife was under like 2 feet of water for like a year or two. And I've
That
read
helps.
that can also do it in. So I don't know what worked, but I still find an occasional loosestrife beetle, because there's still some loosestrife, not much. But there are, I see them every summer.
Warren Poll was really a
So-
lot the last couple of years,
Yeah.
and it wasn't 2 or 3, 4 years ago.
Yeah,
It wasn't that
yeah.
bad.
Something seems to be going on.
Yeah, so, okay.
Yeah.
So that's good to hear. And Peter, did you want to mention the biodiversity grant?
Yeah, we are working with Community Development, Evan Belansky, to try to pull together a proposal by December 25th for some modest funding to do some wildlife surveys at probably Warren Poll, and maybe some habitat corridor kind of something or other. We haven't figured out exactly what. But I wasn't going to say anything in case we didn't get it done over the
Okay.
holidays.
Well, hopefully.
But we're aiming for that.
I'm putting the pressure on you here.
Yeah, and there are some other, there are other grants like that.
Yeah. Okay,
Okay, got it.
good. CR for 255 Princeton Street. We have a,
Yep.
Did-
So,
Did our notary public remember her stamp?
No.
Okay.
Oh, you forgot to remind me.
Okay, then,
Well, we can we can just leave her the signed page, and you can do it tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
say again? Oh, she'll stamp it then?
Yeah, once it's signed,
Okay,
then she'll certify it tomorrow.
All right.
So I think if people have read it and are comfortable with it, I'll just need a motion to approve it.
Okay. I'll take a motion to approve the conservation restriction for 255 Princeton Street.
Second?
Who took?
Make the motion,
Who
right?
makes the motion?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Make the motion, I'll second.
I make a motion to approve the CR for
255.
255 Middlesex.
Princeton Street.
Princeton Street.
Motion from Mark, second from John, all in favor? Aye. All right, we'll do that. Why don't we adjourn and we can sign it as we don't have any,
Oh, okay,
Meeting
yeah.
minutes. Do we have to
Okay.
approve meeting
we don't have any meeting minutes, do
Okay,
we?
cool.
Not yet.
Yeah, okay.
There is one other thing to sign, not on the agenda because it came up suddenly. But back in 2014, in June of 2014, the commission issued a partial certificate of compliance for 2 duplexes. Well, actually, the partial is, the order of conditions was for 2 duplexes. And the partial that the commission issued back then was for completion of the first duplex at 172 Princeton Street. I think it got issued, I don't know, but it certainly never got recorded, so there's been a request to just re-sign that. Don't even need a motion.
Okay, good with that.
Pass that around. So, that's all I.
Take a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion, we adjourn the meeting.
Motion from Ellie, and all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much, Chelmsford Telemedia.